Hello. Hello, hello.
Now to Syria, where opposition forces say they have entered Aleppo after rebels launch a surprise offensive in the government-controlled city for the first time in years. A statement by a newly formed rebel umbrella coalition says clashes with Syrian forces intensified overnight into Friday morning. The rebels and Bashar al-Assad's regime had agreed to a ceasefire mediated by Russia and Turkey in March 2020. CNN's senior international correspondent Ben Wiedemann has covered Syria extensively over the course of his career. He joins us now to give us some perspective on the latest development. Ben, this is the first major escalation in Syria in around 7 years. Rebels claiming to have taken control of Aleppo's western countryside. What is the latest?
Yes, what we're hearing from Aleppo is they've now entered the new Aleppo neighborhood as well as the Hamdaniya neighborhood on the western side of the city. This comes after they launched this sort of coalition of rebel groups led by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which is a rebel group that at one point was affiliated with Al-Qaeda, but they launched this lightning offensive on Wednesday, and since then they've taken, according to them, 63 villages to the west of Aleppo, which of course is Syria's second largest city, and they say they have now entered the western edge of the city. This is an offensive that comes after keeping in mind, of course, that the rebels lost control of most of Aleppo back in 2016. And there's been basically a stalemate since March of 2020 when Russia and Turkey worked out a ceasefire agreement for the northern part of Syria. Now, there have been clashes among the rebel groups themselves, but it appears that they've put their differences behind, perhaps to exploit the fact that, for instance, Hezbollah, which was a major backer of the regime of Bashar al-Assad, essentially pulled out of Syria starting in October of last year when they focused their fire on Israel. And of course, other backers of the Syrian regime, for instance, Iran has been distracted by its involvement in hostile activities with Israel, and Russia has been distracted by its war in Ukraine. And therefore, perhaps these rebel groups are seeing this as a golden opportunity to target a weakened Syrian regime, a regime that doesn't have the kind of backing that it enjoyed going back to, for instance, 2015, when the Russians became directly involved in bolstering the regime of Bashar al-Assad. So certainly this does represent a dramatic change on the ground in an area where the Syrian regime was starting to feel fairly confident. They've been trying to rebuild parts of old Aleppo that were severely damaged in the civil war that's been going on there since 2012. But it does appear that the regime has been taken by surprise by this rebel offensive. Eleni?
Indeed. I mean, a huge surprise, and they're calling it a shock offensive. What is their aim Ben, and as you say, they're feeling emboldened now that Hezbollah and Iran are distracted with their own worries, specifically in what we're seeing in Lebanon. So what is their aim right now?
Well, what they've said, this Military Operations Command, which is the name of this umbrella for this coalition of rebel groups, they said that their aim was to stop Russian and Syrian regime forces from targeting Idlib province and parts of western Aleppo province that are under the rebel control, that they've been targeted by Russian and regime artillery and airstrikes. So they say that the purpose was to put an end to those strikes, but clearly they see that the regime is feeling exposed, that it doesn't have the kind of backing that it had until quite recently, and clearly they're seeing that this is an opportunity to go after, to try to retake Aleppo, which of course, keep in mind, it's not only the second largest city in Syria, it really is the industrial heartland rather the industrial sort of center of Syria, and it would be a major achievement for them to retake that city. And after a period
Loco,
when it was thought that the opposition was essentially
I jump on stream once every other day, actually,
province, and
at the same time
was
every time.
slowly regaining control of some of the country. Keep in mind, of course, that Syria has, in addition to the rebels, there's a Turkish military presence, an American military presence, a Russian military presence. Basically, the country is cut up in pieces, and the regime's control at the best of times has been tenuous in many parts of the country.
This is really interesting. Obviously, it's the first time in a long time the rebels have actually gotten into Aleppo. If they're able to take Aleppo, this could show an overall weakness from Iran and Russia, being distracted by their own wars, being beaten down by the situations, either for Iran in its proxies or Russia directly in Ukraine. It could show a weakening of these countries in their military influence over areas. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Hopefully a change in Syria would improve things, but I mean, the rebels are pretty crazy too, so kind of hard to see how much better it'll get, honestly, but we'll have to see.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one
Gotta pay the
productivity
bills.
software where you can manage everything and anything related to your work. Your documents, your chats, your whiteboards, your
All right, we're gonna go in here.
Even as I'm stepping through these doors, I don't fully grasp what we're about to walk into. Suddenly, you're hit with the intense gaze of dozens locking onto you. These men described as the worst of the worst, tattooed with reminders of El Salvador's dark past. It's tense and uncomfortable, but here, officials say comfort isn't meant to exist.
There's no mattresses, there's no sheets. You've got a toilet over here for them to go to the bathroom. You've got this basin here that they use to bathe themselves. And then you can...
This is always so weird to me. It's like they go into these prisons with these hard-ass gangsters, tatted up dudes, and they're just like random-ass white guy like, look at all the shit they have to live in here.
See there's a barrel of water that they can drink from.
This is a rare look inside El Salvador's terrorism confinement center, known as Secor.
He says there's always somebody standing here in front of the cells, and then if you look up, there's another corridor with more security personnel. Luz 24 horas. 24/7 light.
The prison sits like an isolated fortress, nestled in mountainous terrain, about an hour and a half drive from the capital. Even with government officials on board with us, we're stopped a mile out.
Oh, okay. He's gonna inspect bags now too. Okay, we're clear to get back in.
Visiting these kinds of places is pretty crazy.
Only to hit another checkpoint. Approaching the main gate, our cell signals vanish.
They want to do a full search on us before we enter.
Secot's director, Belarmino Garcia, greets us
Bienvenido.
and takes us through a rigorous security check.
Wedding ring. So this is like airport security on steroids. Anything that we're carrying with us. Móvil aquí, teléfono. Okay, anything we're carrying with us has to go there. And then there's a body scan that continues on the other side.
That's not that bad. Looks like the
Shoes
airport.
off.
Except with probably higher likelihood of a cavity search.
Once cleared, we tour the vast campus, starting with the armory.
He says they have to constantly remind themselves that they're dealing with essentially the worst of the worst, and for that reason, they need to be ready for whatever risks they might face. It's been equated to 7 football stadiums. It's almost multiple prisons within the prison. You can see off to the distance, there's 3 different rings as they describe. The far end, you have one that's 9 meters high of concrete, and then above that, 3 meters of electrified fencing.
15,000 volts.
15,000 volts.
More than 1,000 security personnel, guards, police, and military are stationed on site. Inmates are assigned to one of 8 sectors.
The director tells me the inmates, once they're inside one of these sectors, they never leave. Everything is done within, including doctors, as well as legal visits or court hearings.
Each sector holds more than 24 large cells.
Roughly 80 inmates per cell, but it can fluctuate.
Most bear the markings of the gangs that held this nation hostage for decades, committing brutal acts of violence.
You gotta kill people, you gotta rob, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive.
You have to do those things.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
And if you didn't do those things, you wouldn't.
You wanna be a gangbanger.
We meet 41-year-old Marvin Vasquez, shackled and heavily guarded.
What gang were you part of?
MS-13.
And do you have any gang affiliations?
Yeah, I'm tattooed up.
What is this?
Crazy criminal. Say crazy criminals. Yeah, I made this clique in 2011.
You made the clique.
Yeah,
You were a gang leader.
yeah.
What is it like to live here?
It's probably not a hotel 5-star, but they give you the 3 times the food. They give you some programs. You go to do exercise.
Ejercicio nosotros lo podemos repetir siempre.
Some church religion programs too.
But that's limited to just 30 minutes a day. The other 23 and a half hours, they're kept inside and locked up.
For inmates who get violent with other prisoners or guards,
We're going to close the door. I just want to get a sense of. Wow.
solitary confinement awaits.
The only light you get is through this hole. And they can be in here for 15 days potentially. All right, I'm ready to get out.
Critics point specifically to the prison's strict control and isolation of inmates, calling it a violation of human rights.
The director brought up that a lot of folks will raise concerns from a human rights perspective and an abuse of human rights, that he's calm hearing that because he sees it day to day, the process they go through to maintain, as he sees it, proper punishment.
While you're cut off from society here, whispers of life on the outside make their way in.
I've heard about it, that it's a new El Salvador, it looks different.
That new El Salvador has emerged under President Nayib Bukele, who took office in 2019 and declared a controversial state of emergency more than 2 years ago. It sparked an aggressive crackdown on crime. We see that firsthand as some 2,500 police and soldiers deploy into one neighborhood.
He's going to go on through the night for however long it takes for them to root out any suspected criminal elements.
Late last week, as the U.S. State Department lowered its travel advisory for El Salvador, citing a significant reduction in crime, it also warned that Bukele's emergency measures allow authorities to arrest anyone suspected of gang activity and suspends constitutional rights.
Hola, Juan Carlos, yo soy David.
Juan Carlos tells me he was wrongfully held for 5 months at a lower security prison earlier this year. He says the poor conditions led to an infection in his leg.
He said he was lumped in and assumed to be part of a gang, and he said in part because of how he looked. He had long hair, he said he had a long beard, and he says he has tattoos, but he points out that for him these are just artistic expressions. They have nothing to do with being part of a gang.
The Bukele administration has acknowledged that innocent people have been swept up in the crackdown, and they say more than 7,000 have already been released. They see it as collateral damage, and Juan Carlos, while frustrated with the tactics, believes under Bukele his country is safer.
Is this headquarters for you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bukele's security minister targets gangs with an academic-like approach.
Nice. Season 2, Squid Game. Fucking stoked. Ooh. This is interesting. I might watch this later. What should I watch? Huh? This looks interesting.
October 7th, 2023. Hamas launches the worst attack Israel has ever faced, resulting in the deaths of over 1,200 Israeli citizens and injuring hundreds more. It's the world's third most fatal terrorist attack in history, with only 9/11 and the...
What's the other one? Fuck. What's the other one? I don't know. I'm gonna feel dumb in a second.
The 2014 Tikrit attack in Iraq being more deadly. This wasn't a random attack by Hamas.
It's because I'm a Westerner and it doesn't come to mind. Let me look that up. 2014 Tikrit attack. On 12th of June 2014, the Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant summarily executed between, Jesus Christ, 1095 and 1700 Iraqi cadets near Tikrit. Killings took place during ISIL's northern Iraq offensive when the cadets were captured outside of Camp Spiker during their attempt to flee from the area. At the time of the massacre, there were between 5,000 and 10,000 unarmed cadets in the vicinity of Camp Spiker, and ISIL militants selected the Shia Muslims for execution. Jesus. As of 2024, it remains the deadliest act of terrorism in Iraq and the second deadliest act of terrorism in the world, surpassed only by the September 11th attacks, claimed by the U.S. to be carried out by Al-Qaeda against the United States in 2001. Events. Alleged dishonesty of the Iraqi government. Several survivors later testified that their senior officers in the camp had forced them to leave the camp. Hassan Khalil, one survivor who managed to escape by pretending to be dead under another corpse, and fleeing at night, said, "Our chief officers are the reason behind the killings. They forced us to leave Spiker. They assured us there was a safe passage, that it was guarded by the tribes, and told us not to wear uniforms. They sold us to ISIS," he added. The Iraqi government and national television denied that story. They said the cadets forced their way out of the camps after the military had already dispatched special forces to the dangerous camps area to secure them, and that they had been warned against leaving. 400 cadets ordered to leave Camp Spiker before the attack were arrested by government forces and are missing. Massacre and ISIL propaganda footage. Pete Buchert, the emergency's director for Human Rights Watch, stated the photos and satellite images from Tikrit provide strong evidence of a horrible war crime that needs further investigation. ISIS and other abusive forces should know that the eyes of Iraqis and the world are watching. The photos show masked ISIL fighters tying up the cadets and loading them up on trucks, with other photographs showing ISIL fighters killing dozens of the cadets with assault rifles while they are lying down. ISIL propaganda videos show them shooting at hundreds of men lined up in mass graves in the desert. Fuck. Some cadets fake their death, covering themselves with blood and escaping at night. Survivor Ali Hussein Kadim told his story to the New York Times following his escape from the massacre. ISIL released footage of the massacre as part of their propaganda video upon the prophetic methodology. The cadets are seen being crammed into trucks, some of them wearing civilian clothes to hide their military uniforms. Most of them are lying on the ground, with their jeans stripped to reveal camouflage uniforms underneath. Some of the prisoners were forced to defame Iraq's Prime Minister, Nouri al-Maliki, while others were forced to shout, "Long live the Islamic State." Some of them were beaten to death with a rifle. Killing methods varied from shooting the cadets one by one to shooting them while lying down, many times to ensure death. Some cadets were shot and dumped into the Tigris River. Fuck me, man. ISIS was so brutal. You okay? Hey, you okay? Come here. Come here. This is some fucked up stuff I'm reading about. Come here. Come on, baby. Come say hi. Come be on the camera. Come on. Come on. Come cheer me up with all this fucked up stuff. Come here. Come on. That's it, girl. That's my girl. Hi. Hello. You my baby? You my baby? Uh-oh. Good girl. Ah. The Iraqi government said that 57 members of the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party had taken part in the massacre. Although pictures show that every armed man was from ISIS, the government stated without any doubts and suspicion, all of these criminals are from the banned Ba'ath Party. The Minister of Defense, Sadoun al-Dulaimi, stated that the massacre was not sectarian in nature. Although the spokesman of the Iraqi Armed Forces, Qasim Ada, stated that there were almost 11,000 cadets and soldiers missing from Camp Speicher. He also stated that thousands were executed in or near the presidential palaces, the Albu Agail region, and the Badouche prison by sectarian violence. This was a pretty bad one. On the 2nd of September, more than 100 members of the families of the killed and missing cadets and soldiers broke into the Iraqi parliament and hit 3 of the security guards. After a day, a session started in the parliament with the attendance of representatives of the families and Sadoun al-Dulaimi, along with other military officials, to discuss the massacre. On the 16th of September, the Kurdish Asayish arrested 4 people suspected to be involved in the massacre in southern Kirkuk. An unnamed security source stated the operation was executed by relying on intelligence information to arrest them. On September 18th, the Iraqi Human Rights Ministry stated that as of 17th of September, the total number of missing soldiers and cadets was 1,095, denying the most popular figure of 1,700 soldiers having been killed, the ministry added. On this number, it would be less than October 7th. Obviously, this number is quite a bit more. The ministry relied on its statistics on spreading forms on the families of the missing people in Baghdad and the other governorate within its quest to document the crimes and violations of the terrorist group of that the terrorist group of the Islamic State is committing towards our people. The Iraqi government ordered them to pay 10 million Iraqi dinar, equivalent to $8,600, to the families of the missing cadets. Fall of ISIL. Following the Iraqi forces' victory over ISIL in Tikrit In early April 2015, mass graves containing some of the murdered cadets were located, and the decomposed corpses began to be exhumed. 2 of the alleged perpetrators of the massacre were arrested in Forsa, Finland in December 2015. Suspects were identified from ISIL propaganda videos in which the executions of 11 men took place. Police did not disclose whether the men had made applications for asylum in Finland. On the 13th of December 2016, the 24-year-old twins were charged with murder and committing a war crime for allegedly killing unarmed cadets, as well as aggravated assault with terrorist aims. They were acquitted by the Pirkanmaa District Court in May 2017 after the prosecution appealed the ruling. They were again acquitted by the Turku Court of Appeal in February 2020 due to lack of evidence for the involvement of the brothers in the massacre. In August 2016, 36 men were executed by hanging for their part in the massacre. Fuck them. On the 6th of September 2016, 3 mass graves were found by the Kataib al-Imam Ali Brigade, containing the remains of over 30 people killed in the massacre. In August 2017, 27 people were sentenced to death for their involvement in the massacre. Another 25 men were released due to lack of evidence. In May 2024, the Iraqi National Intelligence Service arrested 3 suspects who had fled the country for their involvement in the massacre. So, that's well and truly fucked from every direction. It's pretty fucked up. Back to the video.
Hamas, it was a carefully coordinated and orchestrated event, with almost every detail planned down to the minute. And we're going to give you a minute-by-minute breakdown of how the attack unfolded and the chaos it caused in Israel, so you can see exactly how the attack went down. An attack nearly 3 years in the making. December 19th, 2020, Hamas leader Ismail
He dead. He's fucking dead.
Haniyeh declared the start of the first of a series of 4 combat drills that he dubbed Strong Pillar. The drills were planned to deliver a strong message and a sign of unity between Gaza's armed factions, with Hamas essentially forming a coalition with 10 other militant Palestinian groups to take part in a war games-style series of activities. They included the Palestinian Islamic
Team switching off.
Oh, for fuck's
Welcome
sake.
to Miro, the innovation workspace, where everybody works together on an AI-powered canvas, so teams stay on the same page from idea to outcome. Innovation belongs on the canvas. Innovation belongs on Miro.
Oh, 2?
Online on Mac immerses you in a universe with thousands of star systems.
Jihad, or PIJ, along with the Al-Nasser Salah al-Din and Mujahideen brigades. These groups ran the gamut, as the BBC described, from hardline Islamist to relatively secular, but there was a common through line for all. Each shared a desire and willingness to use deadly force against Israel. The Strong Pillar exercises
Israel,
served
but
as building
Israeli
blocks for a
civilians.
full-scale attack,
Fucked.
and Hamas went so far as to create training sites in Gaza, some of which were extensive enough to serve as mock Israeli settlements, allowing its...
Is that Gaza? Is that what Gaza looked like before? No way. There's no way, right? That looks way too nice for an open-air prison, supposedly.
fighters to practice overwhelming buildings and taking hostages. Hamas even released footage of the drills, showing masked commanders huddled in a bunker before a volley of rocket fire ensued. Later, the footage cuts to a group of armed fighters overrunning a tank marked with an Israeli flag, pulling the crew member out to detain him as prisoner, tactics that would come to the fore when Hamas launched its attack in 2023. Hamas wasn't hiding its intentions, it was training in plain sight. September 10th, 2023. Less than a month before the attack on Israel, with Hamas confident it had drilled its fighters enough, it had also created an official command structure to
Blackface.
unify its collection
It's
of
not PC.
extremist groups, which were now governed by a joint committee. That committee started publishing images to its official Telegram channel, showing men in uniforms surveilling Israeli military installations built along the Gaza border. The world didn't know it at the time, but those videos were yet more clues.
Okay, I feel like that's kind of a little bit more like what Gaza should look like, right? And there's that big fucking wall down here too. That's gotta be it, right?
That Hamas was planning ways to bypass or overrun those military installations. September 12th, 2023. Hamas released videos of the fourth and last Strong Pillar military exercise. This time, footage emerged of Hamas fighters riding around in Toyota pickup trucks, many of which would be later spotted roaming around southern Israel in the days leading up to the October 7th attack. There was more footage of fighters raiding buildings and shooting targets inside, Plus, Hamas showed beach storming training videos involving boats and underwater divers. Another tactic Hamas would use less than a month later had emerged. By this point, Hamas had assembled a small army of 30,000 fighters within the Gaza Strip. It has also now established links with 10 other militia groups from which it could draw several thousand more fighters if needed. Hamas was ready, and what follows is a minute-by-minute breakdown of the most devastating terrorist attack to ever take place on Israeli soil.
Here we
October
go.
7th, 2023, 6:29 a.m. Air raid sirens started to blare in the early morning hours as Hamas unleashed a massive barrage of rockets from within Gaza. Those sirens were heard as far away from the Gaza border.
Well, that beach looks... Wait, is that still Gaza? I mean, that looks nice. Right? Am I tripping? I feel like that looks pretty nice.
As Beersheba and Tel Aviv. Hamas would later claim that it fired 5,000 rockets during this initial attack, though the Israeli Defense Force, or IDF, says the number was likely closer to 2,500.
And so it's probably like 3,750. That's what I always do. I always take whatever Hamas says and whatever the IDF says and like just put it right in the middle. That seems to be like the smartest play.
The Al-Qassam Brigades, Hamas's armed wing, began developing rockets in 2001. Initially mocked as fireworks for their short 1.8-mile range, these rockets had evolved significantly by October 7, 2023. The upgraded Qassam-1 now had a 3-mile range with an 11-pound warhead, while Qassam 2 and 3 could reach 7.4 and 10 miles, carrying heavier warheads of 22 and 44 pounds respectively. Hamas also deployed longer-range rockets like the M73, which traveled up to 49 miles but only emitted smoke, and the more potent S-55, J-90 and J-80, capable of reaching Tel Aviv at 59 miles. The R-160 missile, with a 99-mile range, struck deep into Israeli territory.
99 miles. That's some noob shit. Those are some rookie numbers, okay? Try some American missiles. Some good old US of A power.
Including Haifa.
Okay, that looked a little bit more like what I would have
Within minutes, Israeli settlements near the border with Gaza were shrouded in smoke. People sheltered in buildings as air raid sirens blared and chaos reigned. What nobody knew at the time was that the rockets, as devastating as they would be, were to act as a diversion for what would come next. 6:30 a.m. IDF observers at the Kisufim outpost identified Hamas terrorists attempting to storm the base's defenses. They activated remote firing systems to subdue the incoming horde, though those systems quickly ran out of ammunition. As all of this was happening, Hamas was coordinating a full assault that saw its militants storming fences in 60 other locations. Other fighters were entering Israel using paragliders, with many more attempting to enter by sea, using the training they displayed during the video footage from the 4th Strong Pillar exercise. 6:32 a.m. Inbal Rabin Lieberman was one of the first Israeli security coordinators to recognize what Hamas was attempting. As the security coordinator of kibbutz Nir Am, Rabin Lieberman ordered the opening of the local armory and equipped her security squad with the weapons they'd need to fight back against Hamas. She was one of the very few who did so during these initial minutes. Her decision was made when she heard strange noises near the kibbutz, which is a Hebrew word for a communal settlement such as a farm. She sounded the alert, opened the armory, and prepared 12 members of a quick response force, which included her uncle, to face down the incoming threat.
I stayed on a kibbutz for like a week once when I was a kid. It was really nice. It was just like, definitely like a commune, like everybody just helping out and doing shit. This was like in the late 90s, so I assume they're probably pretty different now. There's probably a lot more weapons and shit there now.
With the force prepared, she began running to houses. While delivering warnings, she also prepared the occupants to launch ambushes against incoming Hamas fighters. Over the next 3 hours, Hamas militants attempted to storm the kibbutz. They failed. By the end of the attack, Nir Am had lost none of its people, while killing 25 invading Hamas fighters. Rabin Lieberman and her brave defense forces, along with the rest of the kibbutz's residents, would later be evacuated to a hotel in Tel Aviv. Their defense of their territory was a success, even as others fell around them. 6:35 a.m. A Hamas rocket falls in central Israel's Kfar Aviv region, demonstrating just how well developed Hamas's rockets had become since the mocking that surrounded fireworks. This was the first rocket to claim a life. An older resident named Hannah Ben-Artzi became the first casualty among what would later grow to over 1,000. 6:36 a.m. More and more kibbutzim located near the Gaza Strip started reporting infiltration attempts by Hamas. Kisufim was one of the earliest targeted, with terrorists invading to fight against members of its security squad. Unfortunately, those forces weren't alerted early enough to fight off the invaders. Hamas killed 17 people in the kibbutz, including all of its security squad, and took a man named Shlomo Mansour hostage. Mansour was 85 at the time and believed to be still held captive in Gaza, awaiting rescue or release. As for Kisufim, it was reduced to a wasteland. Hamas's rocket assault had destroyed many of the settlement's buildings before the invaders launched their attack. The kibbutz still bears the scars of the attack and has yet to be re-inhabited, likely due to its proximity to the border with Gaza. 6:43 a.m. The first of multiple waves of Hamas forces arrived on Zikim Beach. A small group of terrorists had sailed to the beach in a tiny vessel, successfully evading the Israeli Navy in the process. Many more would soon follow. Other dinghies arrived on the beach in short order, delivering more terrorists, who opened fire on IDF personnel stationed nearby. Zikim Beach would go on to become one of the few victories the IDF could claim during the Hamas attacks. Upon being alerted of the Hamas fighters, Colonel Eitan Patz, who led the Ashdod naval base, ordered his forces to defend the border and some key maritime positions near Gaza Strip. He deployed the 916th Patrol Squadron, which sank 3 of the incoming Hamas boats. Sailors from the Snapir unit, which served as the Zikim Beach security force, were later deployed to use a combination of gunfire and depth charges to neutralize any survivors. Even so, the 300 to 500 defenders of Zikim were still caught unprepared as more Hamas fighters.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Gives you the freedom to tell your story. With a professional website.
Fighters landed ashore, Israel's security personnel mounted a fierce defense with the limited ammunition they had available. Some were even fighting in their pajamas. Patients were evacuated from the Barzillai hospital. Fighting progressed from the beach into the Zikim kibbutz and its nearby trio of military bases. Hamas killed 19 civilians during this initial fighting, with battles going on to rage for 5 more days until the IDF finally managed to completely clear the area of invading terrorists. At around the same time, the first shots were heard in the Nirim kibbutz as more fighters invaded. 6:45 a.m. Holit is the next kibbutz targeted. Hamas has far more success here than it had in several of the other settlements. Around 40 terrorists stormed Holit, successfully breaching fences to the east and west. It took just minutes for the first home to be overrun. Many of the residents were either asleep or eating breakfast when the raid began, with Hamas militants moving from house to house, shooting at the metal shutters of safe rooms. There was a purpose to this shooting. The shots would reveal if anybody was inside. If the safe rooms were occupied, the militants used grenades and gunfire to breach them before killing the occupants. More grenades were thrown into houses, with Hamas firing indiscriminately on citizens attempting to flee. The terrorists also destroyed vehicles to prevent escape. By the end of the raid, 3 foreign workers and 12 residents, including a member of the kibbutz's security team, were dead. One of those residents was a Holocaust survivor. Hamas also took 7 hostages during the raid. 3 were released on the same day as they were captured, with a further 2 being released as part of a hostage exchange. However, 2 hostages are believed to still be in captivity. It would take around 18 hours for the IDF's Shaldag unit and Paran Brigade to clear the militants from Halit. By that point, the damage had already been done. 6:49 a.m. Over the span of 20 minutes, Hamas had depleted its rocket stocks in what came to be known as Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. Mohammed Daif of the Qassam Brigades also officially announced the operation, with this militant wing of Hamas being one of the several that claimed responsibility for the attack. We announced the start of Operation Al-Aqsa Flood, and we announced
Mohammed Daif, he just had an arrest warrant put out for him alongside Yoav Gallant and Bibi Netanyahu by the ICC, so who knows? He might be dead, he might be alive. I guess we'll eventually find out.
The first strike, Daif said in an official statement. He then proclaimed that the strike exceeded 5,000 missiles and shells, with all being targeted at the enemy installations, airports and fortifications. The full statement also provided reasoning for the strike. Daif accused Israeli forces of escalating raids on Daif's Al-Aqsa mosque compound, claiming that elderly, young people and children had been beaten. He claimed that the IDF and Israelis in general attacked and ransacked homes throughout Jerusalem. Daif also pointed toward raids along the West Bank and in Gaza as justification for Hamas's actions. We've decided to put a stop to all this with God's help, so that the enemy can understand that no more can they sow chaos.
You think God's still helping you at this point? The strip's been fucking decimated. I feel like he's not helping you too much.
Without being held to account, he proclaimed before officially announcing the Hamas operation. For all intents and purposes, the statement was a clear declaration of war against Israel. Daif called on anyone who could do so to pick up a rifle and prepare to fight. 7 a.m. Sirens blared at the Supernova Sukkot gathering in Raim, prompting hundreds of the music festival's attendees to flee. For many, the warning came too late. As the sirens sounded, Hamas militants arrived on trucks and motorcycles, surrounding hundreds of the festival goers. They opened fire, shooting into the crowd and throwing grenades. Many who had escaped into bomb shelters and the surrounding bushes were also tracked down and shot. It would become the single largest massacre that took place on October 7th. Hamas killed 364 people, most of whom were civilians, as well as taking around 40 hostages from the music festival. 7:40 a.m. By this point, Hamas fighters had successfully infiltrated deeper into Israel. Security forces were caught unawares in dozens of locations. The rocket attacks that led so many to run for cover had ended, but their purpose was now clear. They weren't the main strike. The IDF confirmed the rockets were just a cover, albeit a damaging one, for the waves of Palestinian fighters crossing into Israel. Footage also started emerging of the many methods Hamas had used to infiltrate Israel. A video of Zikim Beach highlighted the motorboat carrying the group of 5 Hamas militants that began the storming of that beach. Another video showed a Hamas fighter flying into Israel using a powered parachute. However, the most common tactic by far was to simply attack security barriers separating Gaza and Israel. Months, if not years, of planning had allowed Hamas to identify weak areas in these barriers with military.
Okay. This shit is fucking tacky, though. They need to get better graphic designers, man. It looks terrible. Terrible.
Militants using the cover of rockets to break through. Photographs showed Hamas using bulldozers to break down sections of metal fencing. There was even footage of 6 motorcycles carrying militants through a massive hole in a metal barrier. Entire communities had been overrun. Hamas had already killed hundreds and was fighting against security forces. The infiltration was a success. Israel had been caught unawares, though Hamas wouldn't have to wait long before Israel issued a militaristic response. 9:45 a.m. As fighting on the ground continued and Hamas penetrated deeper into Israel, the IDF mobilized its air force. It also released an official statement saying, "Dozens of IDF fighter jets are currently engaging several targets belonging to the Hamas terrorist organization in the Gaza Strip." As Hamas militants clashed with people on the ground, hundreds of citizens in eastern Gaza were fleeing their homes to avoid Israeli bombs. Photographs later emerged showing the results of these airstrikes. Vast plumes of smoke rose over Gaza, with several of the city's buildings shown to have been reduced to rubble. Citizens were also shown attempting to evacuate on foot carrying bags, and in some cases children. The picture served as a potent reminder that many within Gaza were just as unaware of Hamas's intentions as Israel, just normal people attempting to survive a situation that was...
I mean, like, what do you do? The group is hiding among them. What are they supposed to do?
Beyond their control. 10 a.m. Hamas continued to penetrate military bases and local settlements. The IDF released a statement confirming the militants had gotten inside at least 3 of Israel's military bases near the frontier with Gaza. The Zikim base was mentioned, showing that Hamas's waterborne infiltration efforts had achieved some measure of success. The militants were also inside the Gaza division headquarters stationed in Raim and had overrun the Bayit Hanun border crossing. Hamas also issued another call to arms. Its deputy chief, Salah al-Aruri, released a statement directed at fighters in the West Bank. "We must all fight this battle," he proclaimed.
Salah al-Aruri. Oh. Oh yeah, he's been dead. He's been dead for a minute.
Especially the resistance fighters in the West Bank. The statement ran at odds with the later photographs that showed hundreds of Gaza and West Bank residents attempting to evacuate. Still, Hamas was enjoying some success. More videos emerged, including one that seemed to show Hamas fighters running toward a watchtower in an Israeli military facility as buildings around them burned. Some militants were already back in Gaza celebrating their success. Several Israeli vehicles were captured and paraded through the streets. Details also began to emerge from Sderot. The region had been one of the many that absorbed Hamas's early morning rocket attacks, and as was seen in many kibbutzim and municipalities, the rocket attacks were quickly followed by an invasion of ground forces. Hamas militants entered the kibbutz and engaged in firefights with local police and civilians. The militants were successful. They overpowered the local police garrison, occupying it while killing 30 people in the process. News also emerged of another terrible massacre conducted by Hamas. On the morning of October 7th, a Tor minibus began a journey from Negev to the Dead Sea. Along the way, it stopped off in Ofakim and Netivot to pick up passengers before traveling to Sderot. It would never leave the municipality. The tour bus picked up a flat tire at the entrance to Sderot. A warning siren sounded as the operators attempted to fix the tire. The bus's occupants, many of whom were elderly, with some being Holocaust survivors, got out and attempted to enter a shelter. The doors wouldn't open. In moments, a pair of vans loaded with Hamas militants arrived at the entrance to Sderot. They identified the tour bus and its passengers as Israeli and opened fire from point-blank range, killing the entire group. It's rumored that the terrorists even fired again after...
Can you imagine surviving the fucking Holocaust just to be killed by fucking Hamas crazy Islamist terrorists? Bro.
Killing their targets to ensure they were dead. During the chaos, the bus driver had managed to escape along with a woman. Lying behind a guardrail, they were discovered by the Hamas militants who promptly shot them. The woman died, though the bus driver survived by playing dead until help arrived. All told, the massacre cost 15 elderly Israeli citizens their lives. It also showed that Daif's grand statements of targeting military installations in Israel...
Oh, yes!
Bro.
Not bad. Sorry for leaving you hanging there.
No worries, buddy. I was just depressing myself while you were gone.
That's cool.
How's it going?
It was good, dude. It was good. How's your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was real nice, man. We made some pretty good food, hung out, watched some YouTube, relaxed, just chilled, man. How about yours?
It was nice. I ate Thanksgiving dinner with the girlfriend's family, just her parents, just me, her parents, and then we went and saw the movie Wicked.
Oh,
and
my
then,
dad and sister saw that today.
Yeah, it was a good movie, dude. I went and saw it. I chugged an edible. It was a 100-milligram edible, and I was pretty much having like a panic attack inside the movie theater. It was crazy.
Bro, you know what that makes me think of, right?
What?
When you and I went to go see Spider-Man?
Yeah, dude. Except it was kind of crazy because when we saw Spider-Man tripping on mushrooms, that was incredibly fun. It was
That
a
was
lot of like
so much fun.
hallucinogenics. But then when I ate the edibles, it was like tripping on mushrooms, but without the hallucinogenics. I'm like, oh my god, dude, it's intense how like high this was making me, how like paranoid it was making me feel. It was insane.
I'm never gonna forget how
It literally felt like a mini mushroom trip just now.
I'm never gonna forget how I was just like laughing at like shit that wasn't funny in the middle of the theater.
Yeah, that was. I just rewatched that movie too.
So good, dude.
Did you know they rewrote the end? They can't like. The latest rumor on it is that they can't come up with an ending for the third Spider-Man movie, so they redid it. And they've been having issues agreeing.
They just
So I guess the movie was done, and you know that's why it was supposed to be released already.
That's why it got delayed.
And it got delayed because they can't agree on an ending right now.
All right. Well, I'd rather they figure it out and all be happy with it.
I rather hope it comes to a perfect consensus where they have the best ending. Yeah, that's currently where they're at.
Don't overthink it, right? Like think it, don't overthink it, because like that's no good, right? This precious cargo we got going on here, so don't fuck it up,
sir.
Yeah. Let's see. You ever watch? Or you ever heard of Abba and Preach?
I know Abba and Preach.
You wanna watch some?
You know
Abba
who Scott Galloway is? Yeah,
I saw you post about him, but I don't really know who he is. So.
I feel like you would like Scott Galloway a lot. He's a Democrat. He's a professor at NYU.
Okay,
and,
cool. Okay, cool. Just I know you were like asking them if they'll like Scott Galloway. Keep in mind.
No, if anybody knew who Scott Galloway was.
Oh, okay. Just keep in mind some of the guys you were talking to there make someone like AOC look like she's a right winger.
Right.
So like they'll look at like
a right winger now. AOC is learning the way.
I don't know about
she's,
right.
Removing her
she's
pronouns.
More of a centrist.
Removing her pronouns. She's gonna go on a conservative podcast, dude. Before you know it, she's gonna be friends with RFK. It'll be
We'll see.
the three-letter politicians
I
dominating
think
the
she's
industry.
just turning into more of a Democrat like me is what's happening.
No, well, you
but
gotta realize Scott Galloway is very much a Democrat, very much a critical person Trump, but he's very pro. He has like all types of ideas. He believes that like men, because he believes that the Democratic approach on how to like I don't know speak to the youth is turning young men far too into
a lot of people agree with that.
feminist ideals, and then he believes the right side is turning them more bitter and against like women. So there's no proper middle ground, and he discusses about how there should be course classes for like young boys on how to learn how to romanticize women without coming off aggressive or fearful.
Why do you
He
think I
talks
like
about
Abba and
like how
Preach?
Abba and Preach is interesting. So I know Abba and Preach because they went on Flagrant. You know the Andrew Schultz podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, they went on Flagrant. That's when I first heard of them. And yeah, they they get in controversy themselves because sometimes they speak a little too I don't know. They've made a couple comments that people have questioned, or I've had
I
a
don't
couple
know.
questionable.
I haven't seen anything
Yes,
so far from them that was like
but as far as yeah, I think they had a couple little random controversies. I forget what it was, but there was something. There's something I remember. But other than that, man, I mean, I like those guys.
Yeah.
I like Abba and Preach.
Well, I mean, why don't I show you? Like, have you ever seen like those stupid fucking dating shows on Jubilee?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, my
they
girlfriend
do
loves Jubilee.
commentary. They do commentary on it, and they just clown on people who are like shitty. It doesn't matter like what gender they are or whatever. They just fucking clown on them, and it's something I really enjoy doing. So I figure we might start off, with something a little funnier. What do you think? What do you think?
All right, that's cool.
All right.
Is there any way I could link? All right, so hold up. Can I get Kick on my TV?
Do
I gotta watch this on my phone?
There might be an app, but I'm gonna screen share with you on Discord. But to pull up Kick, you probably want to do it on your phone.
How do I pull up Discord on my? Because I'm on Xbox. I'm always doing it on Xbox chat.
You're on Xbox. How did you screen share with me? How did you see my screen share before?
But you're on Kick, so I just pulled up Kick on my phone.
Oh, but then you're like a little delayed, right?
Yeah.
Do you have Discord on your phone or on your computer?
I do. I have a Discord.
Yeah. Why don't you jump over to your computer real quick?
Okay. All right, 1 sec.
Yep.
All right, hold up.
Yep.
No one's there yet. Wait, I'm in your. Oh, that's G server. Hold on. J World. There we go. Yeah. There we are. All
right. I can't hear you though. Oh, there we go.
I'm gonna see if I can do something real quick.
Yeah.
This is gonna be interesting.
Also, we should definitely get Dante to come on next time as well.
He might be down.
I mean, he said he wanted to come on and live stream with me before.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I'll just give him a call and invite him.
Yeah. All right, let's do one of these dating ones. Let's see. Or actually, this was pretty cool. Amanda Seals.
No. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I lost.
You can't hear me? Connect your headphones to your computer.
Living with opioids.
You got to connect your headphones to your computer, dog. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Can you see my screen share now?
Hold on. Oh, that's why. Okay. No, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This works.
Okay,
It's fine.
Sweet.
I was trying to keep you on my headset, but I can't because I'm watching it on the phone.
Oh.
That's fine.
Oh, all right. Let me know when you're in the screen share, though.
I got it.
You see this Amanda Seals professional victim? I think you're going to like this one. Should I hit play?
Yeah, go ahead.
Seals are full disclaimer. I don't like her. But I just
You don't like her?
don't.
You don't like her?
I don't think there's ever been an interview where I watched her for more than 5 minutes and
And she
thought
was likable.
I think I would enjoy a conversation with this human being. But she did an interview with Shannon Sharp. It went viral for a lot of different reasons.
Shannon
You guys
Sharp.
sent me this interview. A lot of you.
Wait, so you still like him a lot for the stuff he did, or did you lose faith in him after he lost?
Who, an Abba and Preach?
No, in Shannon Sharp.
Oh, what did Shannon Sharp do wrong?
Wait, didn't you? No, I remember. I don't know if you were joking. Remember when he had the football team and you were all up on Shannon Sharp and then he lost? And I'm pretty sure you were joking as you're like, I don't like him anymore because he lost.
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't even remember that conversation. I don't feel like that was me.
Oh, it was
I
definitely
like Shannon
you.
Sharp.
Was it
Are you
Shannon
sure?
Sharp who had the football team?
No.
Who was it? The former NFL player who had a football team and was like doing really well with it.
Beats me, dude. I don't think any NFL players own a piece of the football team. The only person to do that recently is Tom
No, it was
Brady.
like a high school football team or some shit.
Oh, dude, are you thinking of Deion Sanders?
Yeah, Deion Sanders. That's my
Those,
bad.
yeah, two different people. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're good.
I
No,
do
you
know
said-
those.
oh,
I
you're
do
the
know
head-
those are
you're
two
the head
different
coach.
people. What are you calling me, a racist?
Pretty
You saying
much, man.
I can't tell the difference.
Well, you certainly don't know football. We'll just say it.
Oh, ouch! You know, I'm on track to win my fantasy league. By the way,
That's cool. That's cool. Funny
at least
enough
I
you
know
don't
that
know.
much about football. All right, let's keep this shit rolling.
You guys DM'd me, and I kind of hate you for it because I watched it.
I was about to.
And then I edited it down so that you guys don't have to hate it as much as I will. Now it went from 3 hours to 22 minutes. And I promise you still gonna hate her.
I told you I was about to watch it, and you said, please don't. No, I was about to watch it. No, don't do it, dude.
I don't think folks realize behind the scenes how much I have to do sometimes because this shit was disgusting.
You did.
Well, hey, you're gonna see why, okay? I'm gonna just play some of these clips back to back.
You know what? I can't wait to see.
Amanda Seales is an actress, podcaster, comedian, DJ, musician, poet. She's a lot of things, okay?
I'm just gonna give you a little preview. She sucks.
To be fair to her, her career resume is extensive. From a child actor to even up until today, she's done a lot in the entertainment industry. She was part of the TV show Insecure, where a lot of people know her. She was also part of Flowetry. She was part of one of her favorite daytime TV shows, The Real. If you guys are wondering what all these clips are, I'm just piecing together her conflicts with people. In a 3-hour interview, there might have been at least 30 to 35 different people from all walks of life, different points in her life, before she was famous, after she was famous, school, elementary school, middle school, work, radio, didn't fucking matter. Everywhere she went, motherfuckers hated her. I present to you a professional victim, Amanda Seales.
I am a genius.
Give her some time, bro. Let her cook. Let her cook, bro.
It's just no, but yo, you told me let her cook, but it's like whenever you try to cook and then people walk in the room and they're like, he smells good. What are you cooking? It's just garlic and oil. Calm down. It smells fire.
Okay, let's go though. Let's go.
I am a genius. I'm a gifted performer. I am a gifted person. I am a creative genius.
Is
I'm
that Sunny
generous.
Hostin?
I am giving.
Is that what?
I am kind.
Sunny Hostin? Who is that?
That's Amanda Seales.
She looks a lot like Sunny Hostin. She looks like she should be Sunny Hostin's sister from The View.
Oh yeah, well she's not though. But she sucks. So.
Do you know you follow Sunny Hostin in all her language since the election, leading up to the election, everything on The View? She's like the most toxic human being on The View.
Is she like the worst one of all of them?
Oh my god, dude! It's the funniest thing in the world. If you follow the lore of Sunny Hostin. She is the person who has pushed Trump as a Nazi, Trump as Hitler, Trump as racist.
Oh, she does kind of look like her.
But she does look very much like Amanda Seales. But here's the funniest part. Then, when Trump won and people like Joy Behar were talking like, you should, here's how you got to handle. You should still be cool with your family.
Joy Behar took it like a fucking champ. Okay,
dude. Sunny Hostin said, "I do not believe that. I believe that if you have family members who voted for Trump, that maybe you shouldn't spend this Thanksgiving with them. And that you should." He gave his whole speech, right, cutting off her, or like telling people, like whoever the fuck balls are telling people to
cut off your family, like a fucking Scientologist.
Funniest thing of all time. It's like the greatest joy I've ever experienced. I've watched this person now for a year, this entire year of The View, just listening to viral hate. It's like hate watching, The View.
Yeah.
Then fucking the
like when I watch Hassan Piker
happened. Sunny Hostin found out through a 23andMe that her half Spanish side, she thought she was Latina, like she thought she was Puerto Rican or something. She found out she was Spaniard. She has slave owner roots. This is a person that is the most. She had to talk about it on The View. So there's a viral clip where she talked about Matt Gaetz, talking about him trafficking 17-year-olds, and then a legal note came in, and she had to give a legal note. A legal note says that these are accusations and 3 years of
it hasn't been proven.
Right, and so there's she had to give the legal note.
But it is weird that they don't want to release the shit.
You should follow the Sunny Hostin lore, because in the beginning it was like this strong Black independent Hispanic woman, and like over the last 2 months it's been like blow after blow after blow for her. And the latest one, which happened like 2 weeks ago, is her finding out that her ancestors were slave owners.
Did she have to like eat crow on TV for that?
Bro, she is just saying, well, it's just so interesting and knowing my roots, and I just want to go on there. I want to blast her. I just want to be like, do you understand why you're so hateful of a group of people?
Did she
probably
like cope?
Your slave
Did she
trader
cope super hard?
Yeah, dude. She's like devastated. Like you can see it on her face. It's fucking hilarious. But it's crazy how a person, a human being who is so hateful, turns out. Yeah, you want to know why you're so hateful? Probably because of those slave trader roots you got in you. Even though now you're on the progressive side, and you think all you're doing is right, but it's like the same human being that pushed for people not to spend their Thanksgivings with their family anymore because they voted differently.
Well, that's
you know,
that's the
if she
problem with
had
a
it,
lot of these people, bro. Is like if you virtue signal and purity test that fucking hard, when you find out that you don't pass the purity tests, you come off looking like a piece of shit.
Yeah, she's the person that pushed reparations. She pushed like every progressive idea whatsoever.
Wouldn't she maybe have to pay some reparations?
She would have to pay reparations. That's the biggest irony of all time, is because she's 100%. Like she should be fucking coming up with programs as we speak. Like it's crazy to think of. Yeah.
All right. Well, you're gonna hate this girl too. I promise you.
Yeah,
you're gonna hate this one too. Yeah. I mean, she started off like, "I am a genius," so we're already doing well. Yeah.
Only Kanye is allowed to say that about him.
Bro, she got some lovers. She confident.
Hey, if nobody's gonna love you, who will?
I'm funny. I'm delightful. Like these are not things that I need to wait for somebody to say about me. I know these things about myself. It is my habit because I've always been labeled as this. You think you know everything. It's not that I think I know everything, but I really did know the answer. And I'm thinking I'm helping the room out by having the answer. But
you know those when you meet those people who have just zero humility, like zero humility or self-awareness.
Yeah, it's a self-awareness too.
Yeah. Oh shit.
They like.
Think you're a know-it-all.
You're a lot. You're a show off. You're extra. In my sophomore year of college, I was put in a suite with 7 other women. And the day I got there, my name had been ripped off the door and thrown on the ground. I didn't even know these women.
Goddamn, they hate you from the jump.
For no reason?
So mind you, she's not even
for no reason, dog. You think they just ripped your shit off? They never met you, never spoke a word to you. For no reason, they just fucked your shit up. Okay.
I don't know. It's possible. I'm not gonna give her.
But that would be weird. Like they never even looked at her. Like how? That seems sus.
What year was this? How old is she? You know, I'll tell you right now how realistic it is. But
let's see.
Because like, what year is she saying that happened? Is this a Kamala situation where she said she was listening to Tupac in college? She's
43. She was born in the 80s, so it would have been sometime in the late 90s, early 2000s, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Anything's possible.
And 2 weeks in of them not talking to me, I said, listen, I'd like to have a Friday night where I buy a bottle of tequila and we all just sit around and y'all can take shots and tell me why you don't like me. And everybody's reason was, I don't like you because you think you all laugh. I don't like you because you extra. I don't like you because you a show off. None of that shit is anything having, like, I'm not harming them.
Right.
Like, I'm literally just trying to
But they formed this opinion of
you
that
prior
to meeting you.
I'm just trying to exist.
Yeah.
I'm literally just existing in the world, and it's a fucking problem. And if you're gonna not like me, I would at least like it to be for a legit reason.
The funniest part is you know, you'll meet people now who are on like an extreme progressive left, and it's like you got to have an awareness of all types of noises you make and the autism of these people and what triggers.
Yeah, but then they don't have any self-awareness.
Right. So it's like, you know, you say that you're loud and not, you know, boisterous. You could be a very, you know, outgoing person, but like, you know, those same human beings will be the first one to turn it around on you and be like, well, you know, you're setting off my triggers.
Yeah,
you know?
And like I've got
And
ADHD.
it's the fact that,
I know I'm kind of a loud and boisterous guy,
yeah, you're
but
not,
you know.
That's good. That's good. That's who you are. And you know what? I'll probably be accepting of who she is too, but not everybody is. That's just how the world is.
Well, we're just a few minutes in, good buddy.
My bad. I'll stop cutting it off. I'll watch the world.
No, it's fine. Like, we want to talk about it, but I'm just saying we're only a few minutes in. Just you wait.
Shannon, that's why her show don't make no sense. People don't just hate you for no reason. 7 people in your fucking dorm setup hated you from the first day they saw you.
Yeah,
It's not
7 in your
because
dorm is crazy.
You discard those
That's
reasons.
crazy.
They're not legit. Basically, they don't like you because you're annoying as fuck. Someone that is too much, someone that is a know-it-all, someone that's that labeled by a lot of people, basically it's because you're annoying. I'm just trying to live, yes, but you living is taking so much space that you don't allow other people to live. Yeah, but it's for them to take their space. See what I mean? You're not considerate.
There is the truth. There is my truth. And a lot of times, baby, it's the same. And one of the reasons why you can see that is because when I recount a story, I want you to notice this.
Let me tell you a phrase that I fucking hate.
What?
My truth.
Yeah.
I can't stand it, bro. I can't stand it. And I'm a pretty liberal, accepting guy, right? You know that. But like, my truth is a nonsensical statement to me. There is the truth, right? And then like everything else is an opinion or an interpretation. Your truth is an opinion. That's what your truth means. That's like, you know what? That's what triggers me. Okay, that's what triggers me. That's my trigger.
Jordan, let me tell you my fact. All right,
Yeah.
let me tell you my fact. Let me tell you my perception, which we all know perception is reality.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts, dude. Ugh.
When I recount stories, I very rarely include my feelings. It's never, I felt that this person did this. I thought that this person did this. It's like reading Game of Thrones.
Holy shit, Georgia just won against Georgia Tech in an 8 overtime game.
Oh shit, I forgot to check on some of the scores.
Go ahead.
Nice.
Check it real
Hey,
quick.
good. Play the video.
All right.
I'm multitasking.
I don't want this to be an easy interview. I'm ready to address whatever.
Well, first of all, are you still on Insecure?
What kind of dumbass question is that?
I'm just asking.
What the fuck?
I'm just
Next
asking.
question.
Well, who was the person that did not like
No, we're not doing that. But I feel like
Ask the questions. Don't take it easy on me. That's what you want.
Amanda's the only factual person in the world. When she tells a story, her perspective is the perspective.
that is part of my autism. I speak in directs. I speak in linear spaces. I speak in literals. That's part of the reason why people don't like me either. So when I was at Disney, and I was in the situation at Disney, I was there as the only black.
Did you see Shannon Sharp like with his head down, like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, well, he's been in worse, but I mean, what a wild thing to say. That's my autism. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, he had to deal with Skip Bayless like on a nearly daily basis.
Yeah.
I kind of miss that show. I kind of miss watching them fucking go at it. It was always fun.
Yeah, but what Shannon Sharp would go on to create with Cat Williams with that one episode, his fucking podcast skyrocketed. He's probably doing better than ever.
True. But still, I'm always going to miss Skip. I'm always going to miss that shit.
A girl.
Okay.
And there was a whole crew. It's like 12 of us. And so I was called an N-word right there while I was there.
What?
And I was also bullied while I was there because I was told that you're only here because you're black. You can't really dance. You're just here because you're black.
It's up to 19 now.
Black, so don't get any ideas. I ended up getting kicked out of the conservatory. So
I can't believe it.
One of the guys in my class created a story, and he told the teacher a lie. He told her that I was listening to my headphones in class, which I was not. But she was already a baddie lady anyway. And again, I'm the only black girl in my class, so like you're just a very easy target. She just lost it. I mean, she lost it. She was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe you would be here listening to your headphones.
I mean, had you had any run-ins with this teacher prior to this?
So then she goes on a mission to get me kicked out of the conservatory. And all of a sudden, there's no excuse. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. I don't know. But she definitely went the distance, and she got me kicked out.
It had to have hurt to have these black publications.
I had a nervous breakdown. It's just the willingness of folks to sell their souls for so little. And I feel like that's what you have to do to like put your gift of being a writer to work in such a nefarious way. I ain't met none of these people. I ain't done none of these people.
All her friends from college. When she went to a post-academic schooling, her teacher hated her. One of her other classmates decided to tell a random lie about her, all these things for no reason. Black publications wrote bad things about her, again, unwarranted. Let's keep listening.
I like to think that they were paid by APAC because if you...
Bro. Fuck off. Of course, bro. Like, if you can't figure it out, it must be the Jews. Why didn't I think of that before? Of course it's the Jews. Of course it is, right? Fuck me.
Most of the time it is.
It is most
Not
of
all.
the time. So I can't blame her that much for blaming the Jews. I think they were paid by APAC? Fuck off, dude. Oh my god.
Not for nothing, they were paid by Jews.
And in my own way by being more honest than I needed to be in certain situations. This is not conceit or cockiness. This is somebody who has really sat here and looked at this.
Whenever somebody says this is not conceit or cockiness, it's probably conceit or cockiness.
I think some people don't like me because I'm very light-skinned. I think some people don't like me because I'm a woman with a very strong point of view and an opinion. I think some people don't like me because I may reflect something.
There are plenty of women with strong points of view who are well liked. There are plenty of black people with strong points of view, or light-skinned black people with strong points of view who are well liked. I just think they don't like you, dude.
That they desire.
Listen, the reason why people don't like me is because, I'm wonderful. I'm amazing. And people don't like me for that. People don't like me because I'm a total bitch, which stands for babe in total control of herself. That's why they don't like me.
I think some people don't like me for the reasons that they don't like themselves. And I know that there are reasons you don't like me that were handed down to you in some situations. By patriarchy, I mean by racism, I mean by classism, etc. You don't like me because I can talk proper or something.
So, yeah. She kind of sucks.
Yeah, but what does she do? What is her relevance?
She's an actress, and apparently she's a comedian.
Oh, no, she's not.
Yeah, that's what they said at the beginning.
What shows her fell out? Where does she go?
I have no idea. Let's see. If she has any, specials or something. We should watch one of her specials at some point, just for kicks.
Shit, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah. HBO debuted her first stand-up comedy special, I Be Knowin'. Bring the Funny is a comedy competition series. Seals hosts alongside Kenan Thompson, Chrissy Teigen, and Jeff Foxworthy. Recurring guest on Insecure. Let's see. Hosted the BET Awards in 2020. She's got some shit under her belt. Oh, she defended Jussie Smollett. Oh my god, bro. About Jussie Smollett, she said, even if it was a hoax, for the sake of bringing attention to this, then I'm like, that's low-key noble. Ugh.
Some people are just your enemy.
That's fucking stupid, man. Jesus.
If that's a source of ire for you, I'm mad that somebody put it in you. I've been bullied for being smart. I don't know how being unabashedly smart has become such a villainous thing. I am fucking Scolder and Mully. I'm a crusader.
Well, she got a lot of
Green Beret,
followers.
but I have become the patron saint for difficult women. You didn't get a check for
A lot
this,
of
and you
hubris,
just did
too.
this just to do it. I'm just like, damn. That's unfortunate for you. I just don't ever feel comfortable with people forming opinions not based on truth. Shin, I got in trouble for saying uninsecure. We need to talk about the incident that you had.
I guess when you're in corporate, you got to keep it corporate, man.
We say nigga on the show. We say nigga all day on this motherfucker.
Look at that.
And it was a black woman who pulled me to the side. And this...
He's like, I don't know about that.
Brother, I was like, damn, you the only revolutionary nigga around here. He was like, I'm not a nigga. And I said, okay, I get it. This was the incident. So she's like, we need to talk about the incident. And I said, well...
What incident?
What incident? Well, when you just referred to him as a nigga.
I'm pretty sure that in Django Unchained, in the movie Django Unchained, Leonardo DiCaprio was not saying that word when they were just chilling. We say it on the movie. No. The movie said it's one thing.
Yeah, just because in your lines it says, don't mean you just be out here in the random trailer be like, hey, bitch.
Oh, that in the script, I'm saying to a coworker and then cut, yo, bitch, are we going to lunch? It's not gonna work.
So actually, I referred to him as a revolutionary nigga. It was a compliment.
Right.
You're gonna need to apologize to him. But this is the action of like, you need to bow down. People are always trying to get me to like apologize for some shit I didn't do wrong because they feel like I'm too haughty. They feel I'm too sure of myself. They feel like I need to be cut down to size.
No, they don't.
Nigga, what?
Or maybe you're offensive and completely unaware of it, and you say shit that pisses people off. And then rather than apologize and say, "Oh, I made a mistake," you fucking double down. Maybe that might have something to do with it. Just maybe.
Listen, I use the word occasionally. I don't use it often. You'd actually be surprised.
Okay, you should just use it here.
Even here, like a video, I might not say it for once every like 3 videos. Maybe when we first started, we used to say it more. Yeah. Nowadays, we barely say it.
Yeah, because, flags.
Not even that. As I got older, I just use the word less. That's honestly what it is. I swear less. I do most of those things less.
Sure.
But moving past that.
Concur.
Even when I did use it, there were people who were uncomfortable with the word. And if I would not just go to people I don't know that well and be like, hey, nigga, give me that shit. Because they might take it the wrong way. And I would understand why. For you to be told by somebody, yo, don't call me that, for what? And it's fair, too, because they might have a relationship with that word that's really negative. I know some people, when they hear that word, it triggers some shit in them. And that's okay. For you to be told, yo, you need to apologize for that. You be like, oh, they're just trying to put me down. They're just trying to make me bow down. No, man. You're on the job. You're using language that's incredibly inappropriate backstage to talk to people who you haven't even established a rapport with to use that word. I might be calling some of my homegirls the B word. Don't mean I'm gonna go to a random girl on the job and just say that shit and think it's supposed to fly, and then if she gets offended, I don't have to apologize. Let's be honest about that word. It is incredibly controversial. We all agree on that. Anyone who says otherwise is lying to themselves. So if you know it, using it at work and then being reprimanded for it should be one of the least surprising things.
Yeah, see, this is a video I would have loved to have Dante on for, and just to hear his thoughts.
Oh yeah, Dante is going to be in agreement.
Yeah, I think so too.
For most of the things that she's saying, he's just going to say. Probably doesn't agree with any of this chick is saying. I don't know, man. I don't even know who Amanda Seales is. I looked her up. She's on Insecure. She got a lot of Instagram followers, but I never watched the show Insecure.
I didn't even know about her until I saw this fucking video, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, she sucks, man. Jeez, just as a person, she really sucks.
Yeah, but that's bound to come, dude. The fact that she defends Jussie Smollett is just a reminder that she probably is that same individual, like next level habitual liar, extremist.
Right. Bro, the fact that she blamed APAC just like that.
I know, that was great. We need to do more of that.
Right? We just need to that she's trying to set that standard, man. Don't forget.
I got like
blame the
5
Jews.
minutes into the story. I got like 5 minutes. I got my girl over, so
all right, brother. No worries.
Yeah. What we got you on to Abba and Preach?
I saw ABBA came on a few times on Destiny. They had some good conversations. And
Okay, I would like to listen to ABBA and Preach on Destiny. ABBA on Destiny.
Yeah, they had some good debates. And I don't know, he sounded like a smart guy. I went on the show, And like the more, I mean, I went to the YouTube, and the more I watched them, they were just like fucking hysterical. Watching a lot of stuff, they made me laugh a lot.
Yeah.
This one is a little bit more serious, but some of their other stuff, when they're like watching Jubilee shit, is like really, really funny. Like, no joke, they're really, really funny together. And so I enjoy their stuff. But this I wanted to show you because it was kind of outrageous, you know?
Bro, how many people hate Amanda Seales?
And just some of the shit that she was saying. Like,
I know, but there's tons like that. You didn't even know who Sunny Hostin was, bro.
yeah, I mean, like,
Sunny Hostin's one of the girls on The View. She's been viral like crazy.
I feel like I've probably seen one or two things.
Like, if I were to give you a list, Amanda Seales wouldn't even be high on my list of people with the most hateful rhetoric I've listened to this past year.
Well, I feel like this could be a new theme for when we're on sometimes, is to watch someone being a fucking dickbag in public.
Yeah. Well,
some fun with that.
also, and just the most important thing is watching videos where people get checked. Like, listen to Shannon
Yeah.
Sharp. I know Shannon Sharp. I know how he works. He's just trying to let people be themselves.
He wants to
So
let
that's
her dig her own grave, it feels like.
Yeah,
but
exactly. And that's fine.
yeah,
That's
he
fine.
seems.
Plus,
He seems.
everybody going on Shannon Sharp these days, they all want to be the next Cat Williams. So there's a piece of me that wonders if she even believes what she's saying. Like, because like Cat Williams was authentically like, man, let me tell you something about all these motherfuckers, and he just went in. You saw the Cat Williams interview, right?
I didn't, but like I've known of Cat.
Wow.
I've.
It's a must-watch interview on YouTube. It fucking blew all the numbers out of the water for Joe Rogan.
I'll check it out. But like
It's got like 65 million views, bro.
The
You haven't
first
seen it?
first time I got introduced to Cat Williams was actually GTA 4.
So,
you remember
dude,
that
if anything,
shit?
I'd be willing to almost watch like 2 hours of that Cat Williams interview with you and explain to you in detail how crazy it all is, because he'll be saying shit and it doesn't even, like, you gotta know some more of the context, and I know all the context. I don't know.
I'm fucking down to do that next
Like,
time if you want.
That is what blew up Shannon Sharp to begin with, and now everyone who goes on Shannon Sharp, whether like just multiple figures, including this Amanda Seales person, it seems like the goal now is like they all kind of have their Cat Williams moment. 'Cause that Cat Williams moment's crazy. Like,
I'm down. I'm down to
it's
watch it with
fucking
you next
hilarious,
time,
bro. It's
bro.
like listening to a 2.5-hour comedy special podcast.
All
on
right.
that. Like,
I mean,
it's full of so many little wisdoms and jokes, like one-liners. I want my favorite one-liner.
You have sold me, bro. You have sold me.
2.5 hours. Hold up. 2.5 hours. One of my favorite liners that I fucking use now to this day is he's like, "Oh, you had a little drink." He's like, "You've been drinking, Cat. You sure you about what you're saying?" He's like, "Hey, listen, the truth don't need motivation. All right, it doesn't matter what I've had to drink." But I love that.
That's
line. The
funny,
truth don't
dude.
need
That is good. Yeah, I mean, why don't we next time we're on? Why don't we watch that?
Cool, buddy. Yeah, sounds good. I'll get with you on text. I'll text you when like a good day to do that is. Man, invite me over to your place, bro. I'll just pull up.
Yeah, I mean, you're always down to do that. I mean, normally my schedule, I also just every other day, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm gonna be on like
I work on
starting at 8.
Monday. I got tomorrow off, but I'm trying to get some shit done before I go to work, and then we'll get together. I am free this week, like Wednesday,
Okay.
Thursday, Friday, kind of.
All right, cool.
Cool, brother. All right, buddy. I'm gonna get going though.
Always fun, my dude.
All right, love you, Jordan.
I
Happy
love you too,
Thanksgiving.
buddy. Yeah, you
Thanksgiving.
too, man.
Have a good
You
time.
take care. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, later, bro.
All right, bye.
But if someone tells me,
Well, I'm probably gonna wrap it up for the night anyway. Just a chill night, not too much going on. But if you're watching, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys give me a follow, I'd really appreciate it even more. Trying to grow it a little bit. I do my best content when I'm talking with people, but I'm always happy to just talk to you people too. I hope you all take care. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving.